Yes, hello everyone. Hope you're doing all right. Welcome everybody to another video here on NFTV live on YouTube, and we're also live on Twitch. I hope you're doing all right. Everybody, 3 days in a row we've been doing this. 3 days. I'm gonna start getting some guests on so we can have a little bit of interaction whilst we have yous in the live chat as well. Get your comments in. John's already in there. Hiya, gents. You all right? Evening, Lee. I hope you're with the Kelly deal. Says Connor. We will come to that, and literally you can see it on picture. That's the first one. We'll come in a minute, but I just want to quickly mention the Dan Ashworth situation. Not really a player transfer, but you might have seen it that allegedly that Manchester United have offered 3 million. And this is again coming from the Telegraph, where Newcastle are holding out for 15 million. Look, it's still from what it sounds like, no side of the party has agreed a fee for the compensation because he's still planting his seeds in the back garden. You know, he's still on garden leave. Do you know what I mean? So we'll have to see on that with Anthony, and I said Anthony Gordon there because I said Gordon, because I've just seen a picture of Gordon just before in England with Dan Ashworth, of course. Keep me right, Lee. Keep me right, Lee. I've only had 2 hours, Kip. I am flagging. I'm lagging. Who's next? Is Chris. Tell him. You'll see them in court. Here's Craig. Ooh, feisty Craig. But this is the bullshit transfer rumor that I go through. Some of the gossip that's floating around the web. I'll put it in the description. I don't clickbait yous. I'll give you the source in the video title, and we'll chat with you lot in the live chat as well to have a chat around it. And as I say, I'll be starting to bring in a few more guests. But I just want to see how the show was going, and it's done all right the first few days, and we'll expand that, of course, and we might bring others of NFTV and friends of the channel and what have you. But of course, you've all seen the news. If you haven't, where have you been today? You must have seen the pictures of Sky Sports that I've put out. Dartmouth has put a video out from what it looks like to London. That's what Keith Downie said. That he's having his first part of the medical today in London. Just before we talk about that, though, if you've seen the clip, if that's his missus, why is he not helping his missus going up the stairs with the pram? I was like, that's a fucking horse, that. Just, you just get on with it. You just pull your pram up the steps. You just get on with it. I'll walk in. Smart. Keeping himself fit. He's got a medical coming up. And some other bloke, bless him, I don't know if he was the agent, help him up the stairs. But I thought, fucking hell. I just started laughing at that as well. What is it with guys and surnames starting with Ash? Yeah, we'll not control the fact controller. We'll not talk about the previous owner. Lewis, good to see you. I know this is the transfer news, but have you got the new shirt yet? No, I was in the club shop today, but I've just spent 1,700 quid today on Tokyo. So I'm a tad skint, and I need some money to last me another couple of weeks. But I think I'm going to get the training kit, but and then I'll get the shirt before I go to Japan. So I will be getting it, Lewis. I know Sam's got it. I was with Peter. I was with work today on my lunch hour, going to the club shop as well. So I will be getting it. If you got it, let me know as well. Going for his medical. Didn't want to put his back out, says Shorty Tune for life. What's the second part of the medical? Eating a stotty and necking a bottle of Bruno. He probably doesn't know what a stotty is, to be honest with you. Not many people do from like our area. But look, it looks like it's almost a done deal, isn't it? I think we can. I don't want to say it's done, but from what Downie has said as well, Keith has said that basically it's going to be a 5-year deal with the option of an add-on. So I think we can categorically state that this will be done. He's back. Obviously, there was the talk. We mentioned it the last couple of days that he was on holiday. He's had his break. He's back now. Looks like he's had the medical. And obviously it was Fabrizio Romano the other day said that he'd already agreed the personal terms verbally. It's basically just putting pen to paper. So we all think that's going to happen, don't we? Does anybody think that's not going to happen? And look, I commented on replied to somebody yesterday because they thought that I was criticising Lloyd Kelly. I wasn't at all. I was not criticising. I just feel like if you had to pick between Dan Burn and Lloyd Kelly right now, I would pick Dan Burn, naturally. And obviously I replied to someone last night in the chat as well, but it'd be Fabian Schär and Dan Burn for me. Lloyd Kelly doesn't excite me. I'll say it again. It's not like, oh my God, what a signing, fuck me. You know what I mean? It's not one of them. It's not, but I understand it. It's a squad player who will come in, and especially with the injuries that we've got with Botman and Lascelles, it makes sense. It's a freebie. It helps, and it'll probably it will go through officially when July comes around as well. The Brazilian Geordie highlight, hello pal. N9, N9, anyway, say how are the lads? Yeah, spot on. But look, it's got to be announced. Like I say, you can fill it at left back, you can fill it at centre back. It's got to be them. John's asked the question there, is it going to be a marquee signing this window? And James has argued the cross, and that maybe in a year or two that Byrne will be past it and Kelly might have kicked on. That could be, Byrne's replacement effectively, but hopefully not, because I would like to see a higher calibre in a couple of years. But we'll see with the whole PSR, FFP, which I know is all sick of hearing about. But that's got legs. That's going to happen. So I'm not going to call that one out because we've seen it with proof now. He's having his medical. It's just a case of, replacing it. And obviously, Torres has gone out and say that he's replacing Dummett. He could be, but I think they'll play more often than Dummett though. So, but look, we'll have to see. And look, someone just made a great comment there before, like when we signed Matty Target, when he was on loan, he was brilliant. I know he's obviously had his injuries and kind of getting the side at the minute, but he was good. Dan Byrne was another one. He proved me wrong. So there is that can happen. It can happen. Hopefully this does kick on and prove a lot of people wrong as well. But look, it's going to happen. We'll get one of the other lads to probably do official. Well, it'll probably be me. To be fair, it'll probably be me who does it, me or Sam, who will do the video. But on the official news when it does get announced, and Anthony Gordon is a huge one. Yeah, that was a massive. You obviously seen the Amazon documentary, James, haven't you, as well? So that was the first one. We've talked about it the last 3 nights. I feel like a broken record. Willock on loan. He was a surprise, scored 9 goals. Yeah, great shout. I wanted to come on a couple of official news before we get on to Ferran Torres and Bruno Guimaraes. If you haven't seen what the Brazilian media have been reporting today, you're not gonna like it, let's put it that way. But let's get on with a couple of official news. And I'm buzzing for this lad. Kellen Watts has got a move. There's a lot of the under 21s have been released and they're starting to make moves now. Talked about it yesterday. And now another one today. Kel Watts has got his move to Cambridge. I mean, he's not a young boy anymore. I say under 21s, but he's like, 24, 25? Well, you must know he's 24, Kel Watts, isn't he? And obviously highly thought of in the tune, but he was loaned out after loaned out. And I think it's right for him, to get that move, and I'm buzzing from obviously seeing Dylan Stevenson yesterday to get his move as well. So, and Jude Smith, which we'll come on to in a minute, but good for him. Make himself a career, get down the leagues, come up, and I think he'll play at a higher level. I think this lad is capable of easily being at the championship level. Easily. I think he's got bags of potential. I think injuries haven't helped him in some of his loan spells as well, but he's got talent, man. He can read the game so well. And a lot of people like him. Every time he goes, he becomes more or less a regular, doesn't he? So, yeah, it looks like it. We need a top attacker midfielder, says Dave as well. Yeah, we can speculate to the cows come home, don't they? So, yeah, but great to see Kel Watts, because obviously we've talked about him quite a bit. And on with sister channel NFTV Extra boot it. So yeah, absolutely happy to see him get that move. That is official. And I want to bring up one that I missed off yesterday, which was it wasn't Ferran Torres. We will come back to him in a second because it sees picture there. It was Jude Smith. So completely missed this yesterday, and thanks to a couple of years in the live chat. This is the beauty and the power of the community that you lot have. Because I totally missed this, so thanks for that. Jude Smith, really talented goalkeeper. I'll still say that now. I generally feel he was the best under 21 goalkeeper at the club. I really do. I think he's actually probably... is he better than... I'll go on and say that. He can't be any worse than Mark Gillespie. And every time I've seen him the 2 or 3 times with the under 21s before he went on loan, he was absolute class. I'm a little bit surprised that he hasn't been kept on. A little bit. But good move for him. He's went across to Carlisle, so it's not that far. Obviously, he's a Scottish lad, so it's not that far to get back into Scotland. Obviously, Glasgow's just up the road. I say just up the road, but you know what I mean. It's only an hour away from Carlisle, isn't it? But yes, I read that Carlisle wanted him before he came to Newcastle. Yeah, it's a good move. I think he'll be number 1 there. I think he'll go on and be number 1 there. Andrew, oi, all. Hope you're doing all right. Thinking we're going to get Mobadashvili, then ending up with Trafford. I just have a horrible suspicion that that'll happen again with Morgan Gibbs-White. Torres could be class as well. Morgan Gibbs-White, yes. Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see on that, and we'll see if that happens. But good for Jude Smith, buzzing about that as well. So I like to see a lot of the lads from the 21s go on and get a career as well. I like to keep an eye on what they're doing throughout their careers when they've had 2-3 years in lower league football and 1 or 2 move the way up and stuff like that. So absolutely fantastic for him. Right, we've got to talk about this one because this one straight away, Ferran Torres. Absolute horse shit of a transfer rumour. Lazy fucking journalism. It is shit. How the fuck can we afford his wages, first of all? If we spend the money on Torres, yes, he's flexible, he can play anywhere across the front three, but I don't think we'll have much left to spend, to be honest with you. You think about, like, you obviously left Man City, which he scored that wonder goal. Remember that flick against at St. James's Park? But he went to Barcelona, got his dream move. I just think the wages will be ridiculous to get him in Newcastle. And I just think that he's going to cost too much. I really do. I think it's other areas of that. And don't get me wrong, you'd probably do a job on that right wing. Would be perfect, but that's not happened. The Telegraph have come out and actually squashed the rumour that the Spanish media were putting out this morning. I actually will agree with the Telegraph on this one, but I don't think this is happening at all. Look, I think he will improve with, of course he would. That right wing position we've talked about the last few days is a major, major problem for me. Good day, Lee. Hope you're doing well. Torres is all over the news at the moment. Maybe Barca want to sell him and fund the Bruno transfer. Well, we'll have to see. I mean, what, a swap deal, hippie? Are you wanting to swap? Are you wanting to swap Bruno for Ferran Torres? Because I wouldn't personally. Maybe you've had a few too many pints, hippie. Wink, wink. But no, I hope you did, Harry, mate. Drop us a WhatsApp. But look, it would be a fantastic signing, but for me, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. I think if we were to go and spend the money on him, I think it blows a lot of our budget, especially for bringing in a Lloyd Kelly, which, yes, it's wages only, but Trafford will cost with fee. So, nah, it's not happening. It's not happening. If you disagree with me, the hell, this is why we're doing this show. I think it's bullshit. I actually genuinely think this is a bullshit rumour. So, but look, that's the Ferran Torres that was laughed off earlier today, and yeah, I agree with it. Right, the last one of the day, Bruno Guimaraes, which is all probably sick of your life if you haven't about it. So, obviously, there's talk about his contract situation at the end of the month. We just need to get through June, and you know it's alleged because there's no concrete evidence. I know Eddie Howe has said that he has, you know, a certain time limit. We don't know exactly what that fee is for the breakout, and we can speculate, and nobody knows except from people inside the club. However, Globo, which is a Brazilian outlet, have said that Bruno Guimaraes today, that PSG will come back towards the end of June and test our resolve to see if we're going to budge, because they're going to go in very late in the day. And maybe, I don't know, maybe they're waiting for competition or the bidding or everything, but you've got to have the release clause activated first if you want to speak to Bruno. Because the club know that. They're not going to go, oh, if they're coming with an £80 million bid, they're not going to accept that when allegedly his clause is 100 million. Do you know what I mean? That's not going to happen. If they start low, yes, it might unsettle a player, what have you, but I don't think going to Paris right now would be yes, it's a great club, don't get me wrong, you play Champions League football, but Mbappe's fucked off, Neymar's gone, Messi's gone. Be an interesting season with Paris next season. But going back to Ligue 1, does he want to do that? If he's going to leave he's got to leave for a top league, first of all, and a top club. PSG don't have both that. They've got a top club, but they don't have a top league. Do you know what I mean? PSG want the young French talent now, says Craig. Are there any plans to sign a striker to Lone Wolf? I talked about this the other day. Look, I think it's... For me, you've got to have for me, I still think Callum Wilson's good enough to play in the Premier League. It's just his injuries. But I think you need a third, maybe not so much an out-and-out striker. You can always have, like, funny enough, a Ferran Torres, but a cheaper version, or maybe someone who's coming towards the end of the career, or maybe just someone who's got a hot prospect, someone who's happy to start 1 and 3 or 1 and 4 and start the cups. Who knows? But I think a right wing has more priority, and that right wing can transition into striker. Nico Williams, that's mine. That's what I would love to sign personally. Sam's got his. I've got my Nico Williams. I would love to see him come in a black and white shirt. Like Real Madrid and La Liga would go for, yeah, that makes sense if Real Madrid came in for Bruno, but look, that's what they're talking about today. Obviously, we've had some, and it'll be interesting to keep an eye on Bruno's quotes in the Copa America to see if he says anything about his future, because Isaac did. Isaac said he loves it. Newcastle said that last week, didn't he? He loves it. I have no plans to move, and so that tells me that there is no, Arsenal bid coming in and what have you. James has gone out to say, I would love us to be buying English, but it costs so much to do so, which was a bit interesting the other day with the link with Longstaff, just 15 million. And now Longstaff has not had a good season. Sam thinks it's an 8 out of 10. It's not like Longstaff has not had an 8 out of 10 season. But 15 million is low. I do agree with that, because the price of English talent is like ridiculous at the minute, because there's not many of them in the Premier League, to be honest, and you've got to fill your criteria of like homegrown players and what have you. We're going to have an interesting summer with the Euros and the Copa America as well. I also think, just pointing on this, since I am doing transfer like gossip and official news and shit like that, highly keep this up, Kevin from Canada. If you like it, brilliant. I'll get one or two guests in. I can open it up for you to come on as well. There's loads of stuff we can do. We can bring in telephone calls and all sorts with this. We can expand this. But for me, where was I? We will keep an eye on the Longstaff stuff. Yes, Longstaff is way more than 15 million, even after a bad year, because of the price of British players, because you've got to fill the criteria, haven't you? But look, he's had a poor season. But the rumours again run, but how long will we wait for Kelly? He's back, as I say, and I think that'll be within a week. That'll be announced, and then he'll come in July. And yeah, we'll have to wait, because we are waiting for the fixtures to get released. That's coming up next week. Pre-season friendlies for the men and the women are going to be announced shortly as well. I actually think that was my point. When the tournaments start, the Euros and the Copa America, I think you'll find, naturally, because we've seen it throughout the years, is that transfer gossip goes right down. Have you ever noticed that? Because the ones that spread the shite are at the Euros or the Copa America. You ever notice that? Like, club football just totally gets forgotten about and swept aside. There's no transfer rumours at all. Maybe one. And that's it. And there's now for days and days and days. Funny that, isn't it? Because the ones that are spreading the shite are out in the Euros. Mad, isn't it? I hope I don't sign Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Fuck me, I didn't want him. No, I didn't want him. Too injury prone. Doesn't score enough. But look, he had more games last season, didn't he, Calvert-Lewin? But he's worse than Wilson. I think Wilson's a better player. I do. But all know with Wilson's injuries and stuff like this. Can't stand Calvert-Lewin. He's just injured and not as good. But with, as I say again, with Bruno Guimaraes and that bid coming at the end of it, we'll have to say I'm kind of on the fence with it. I don't think it's necessarily untrue, but it's stirring the shit to get clicks and views and shit like that. And no doubt there'll be a couple of articles tomorrow about Bruno and probably one or two video titles and shit like this and what have you. But like it is what it is. 80s Gamer, it's got to say I'm quite the opposite. I'd rather we buy abroad than get better value. Yeah, and obviously the French market, I don't know if you've seen that there. I haven't seen the news the last 3 or 4 days, but their TV deal's fucked up and it's messed up their TV deal again. So, but there you go, wrapping up. Keep it under 20 minutes. These are short burst videos, but there you go, everybody. So I'm going to go to bed. I've had 2 hours kip and I'm knackered. I'm absolutely fucked, to be honest with you. But there we go. I hope you, like I say, enjoyed this little segment that we're doing, quick short burst videos live, interacting with you as well, and we'll open it up to bringing you on a lot more if he's got the balls to do it. Come on over. Right, that's it. I'm going to love yous and leave yous. Have a good night, wherever you're on the world, Australia, America, doing the road, next door neighbour. See you everyone. What's right today? Tell her.